Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this lesson, we will learn the user pattern tool and see how to duplicate a solid on selected points in both the sketch and part environment. We will also compare user pattern with rectangular pattern and understand the important role of the anchor point in controlling the pattern position.
I got this magic in my fingertips, designing dreams with every click. Shapes and wonders coming to life. With CATIA I cut through strife. In my mind the future's clear. No more doubts, no more fear. Crafting visions in 3D. CATIA's the key, don't you see? I can reach the sky so high. Build my dreams, no need to try. With every tool I sculpt my fate. CATIA helps me innovate. Every line precise and true.
Hello everyone. Today we will study the last method for duplicating a solid. This method is called user pattern. In the previous two methods, we duplicated a solid in a linear direction or around a linear axis. But here we duplicate a solid on selected points. These points can be points that were created before, or they can be corners or points from an existing part. We can create the points in advance on a curve in the sketch environment. Therefore, the duplicated solids will follow the shape of the curve. Now we have a cube on the screen. I create a few random points in the part environment using the point tool. I set the view perpendicular to the plane. I click on the tool to activate it. The tool settings window opens. This window has two sections. The first section is called Instances. Here we can see two options. The first option is called Positions. There is a box in front of it. There are two more tools next to this box. The first tool is Multi-Section and the second tool is Sketch. Now this box is blue and is in selection mode. I click on the points with the mouse. You can see that a wireframe cube is created on each point. The box in front of the number option shows the number of created elements plus the original element. This means that if I select one point, the number 2 is shown, but the positions box shows the point name and its number. If I select the second point, the number box shows 3. The positions box now shows 2 elements. At the moment, I have selected 2 points out of 3 points. Now I click on the multi-section tool. With this tool, we can remove or replace the selected points. The names of the 2 selected points are shown in this window. I click on point 2. I click on remove. This point is removed. The cube shown on this point is also removed from the screen. Now I first click on point 1. Then I click on replace. I click on point 3. You can see that the third point replaced the first point. Please notice another important point. After selecting the first point, the sketch tool is still available. But as soon as I select the second point, this tool disappears. Now I remove all the selected points. While the positions box is blue, I click on Sketch. Nothing happens yet. Now I click on the XY plane. I enter the sketch environment. I create a few points in the sketch environment. I return to the part environment. The user pattern tool is still active. The wireframe preview of the cubes is shown on these points. Now, while keeping the same mode, I click on one of the points that was created in the part environment. You can see that the cubes shown on the sketch points disappear. Only the cube created on the part point remains visible. So we can conclude that we can use either sketch points or part points to duplicate a solid. But we cannot use both types at the same time. Now look at the second section of the tool settings window. This section has three options. The first option is called Object. There is a box in front of it, and right now it shows current solid. You already learned this option in the previous lessons. The next option is called Keep Specification. If this option is active, the original solid is duplicated with all its properties. The third option is called Anchor. In CATIA, this name means support point or reference point. Look, now I create a point at the origin. I create a center point on the bottom face of the original cube. I use the Measure Inertia tool to create this point. I made the point associated with the solid. I also show the distance between the point on the solid and the origin using the ruler on the screen. I have created 3 random points on the screen. I record the distance from the first point to the origin. I also record the distance between the points. Now I activate the tool. Without activating the anchor option, I select the 3 points. I click OK. I hide the original points. Now I use Measure Inertia to create the required points on the bottom faces of the duplicated cubes. I double-click the created pattern in the specification tree. In the settings window, I click on the box in front of the anchor option. I click on the point created at the origin. You can see that the cubes move. I click OK. You can see that the distances between the cubes remain the same. So all the cubes move together without changing their distances from each other. Now I measure the distance between the point on the first duplicated cube and its previous point. It is exactly equal to the distance between the center of the original cube and the anchor point. I go back a few steps. Now I create a point along the y-axis. I adjust the distance of the point from the horizontal axis so that the line connecting it to the point on the original solid becomes horizontal. I double-click the pattern in the specification tree. In the anchor box, I select the new point. I click OK. I measure the distance from the new anchor point to the center point of the original solid. I also measure the distance from the center point of the first duplicated solid to its previous point. You can see that they are equal. I draw two lines between the points. I measure the distance between the two lines. You can see that the two lines are parallel. So, the first duplicated solid moves parallel to the line between the anchor point and the center of the original solid. Now let us go back to the first example. Look, I have a cylinder that I want to duplicate linearly along this line. I activate the rectangular pattern tool. I set the required parameters. You can see that the cylinder is duplicated the required number of times. In the reference elements box, I select the line. The shapes are shown as wireframes. Notice that the spacing is measured from the original cylinder. The selected line is used only as a direction reference. The cylinders are duplicated along a line that passes through the center of the first cylinder and is parallel to the selected line. I go back a few steps. Now I activate the User Pattern tool. Here in the Position section, I click on the required points. With each click, a cylinder is created on the selected point. Very good. You have now learned how to use this tool. You also saw the difference between this tool and the rectangular pattern tool. Pattern tools are very important and useful. After finishing the tools in this section, I will show you their importance in practical exercises. These tools increase the design speed. Watch the lesson carefully. Goodbye until the next lesson.
Let's build the future. Come with me. Don't